Welcome back. This is week 4 of our Troubles in Otari game of Pathfinder 2nd Edition here. How are you all feeling about the system so far? It's been about a month now we've been playing this. I guess not including this week. It'll be a month after we play this week. What's the vibe? Things you like about it?
It's rad as hell, and I have a cat.
Excellent. Any other
Because
thoughts?
the rules are so structured, it feels there's a lot more space for like whimsy in it. Or that just could be the campaign we're running.
A lot more space for whimsy in it, you said?
Yeah. Like it feels a lot closer to like your typical high fantasy.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
That archetype in your head.
Mm-hmm.
I like it how certain things are unknown to you. It's like trying to figure stuff out, trying to do all this other stuff. I find it fun to like privately roll and you basically give us what we think we know.
Right, stick to your character's mind more and have to like avoid metagaming less and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. I do think that's working out pretty well, especially with how easy Foundry makes that. It's pretty nice. So I don't have to like constantly keep all of your sheets right in front of me and roll them for you. I feel like that would slow things down a lot, but since you can all just roll them and send them to me privately, I think that works really well. Just cool. Yeah, from the GMing side of things, I feel like the number of rules is nice because I can always look up and just, basically find an answer to anything. Which is handy, but also in the rare situations where there isn't an answer to something, I feel like there are so many rules to keep track of that it's hard to make a fair and balanced judgment call, if that makes sense. But that will probably come with more experience. Because the rules are so detailed and specific that it's like, if I'm making something up on the fly, chances are it's not nearly going to be close to the quality of any of the other rules. But that's just how it goes with so many rules. The stuff you come up with on the fly is just going to be worse than the stuff that's pre-written. That's how it is. But it is cool that there are so many rules, so I rarely have to do that. It does mean that sometimes I'm looking things up that it can take a minute for me to find things. Like I'm in the middle of the moment, you're like, how do we identify this magic item? And I'm like looking this up, and there's 3 different sets of rules for it. I'm trying to figure out which one is the one that applies in the situation, and whatever. You're like, oh, well, the answer is you can't even identify a magic item. None of you have detect magic. Stuff like that. It's just it's weird. But hey, that's just stuff to get used to in a new system. Yeah, overall enjoying it. Yes.
Can I use society to try and haggle for slightly more favorable prices than half of the value for the items we're selling?
That is something I haven't looked into too deeply, but I don't think that's really too much of a thing. Let me just I don't think there's any rules for it necessarily, and I'm hesitant to house rule it.
Just figured I'd run it past you before.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair.
So you had time to look up the rules if there are any.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm relatively certain it's intentionally left out to A, speed up the shopping experience, and B, because the economy of the game is kept fairly strict as far as gold going to the players and the players getting loot and stuff. There are very, very tight guidelines for exactly how much loot the players should be getting and how much they should be able to spend on whatever, and that's all very, very tightly balanced, like the rest of the math in the game. You'll probably notice so many different things in the game are like, oh yeah, guidance is a +1, not a +1d4 or whatever, right? All the bonuses are kept tight and like small numbers that add up, but you can stack a bunch of them and eventually get somewhere cool. But it tries to keep all of the bonuses and things within certain ranges to keep all of the balance as precise as possible. So I think they wanted to avoid stuff like that with haggling, where having a one good party member that can handle the haggling for the whole party just means the entire party gets a massive boost to their entire power levels. So unfortunately, I don't think that'll be a thing. But we can still roleplay those scenes out a little bit and stuff. But I don't think you're going to be getting too much more, if any more, as far as the actual money goes. If that makes sense. And this could be something I'm misunderstanding as well, but that's my understanding of it. But I can just be looking into that real quick, since we're just here at the start and we've got a little bit of time. Any other thoughts about Pathfinder while I'm looking this up?
Hello.
Hey,
Hey, sorry I'm late.
no
was
worries.
in I got sidetracked. I forgot.
All good. It was a fairly last minute schedule change, so no worries at all. But hey, we're here now. We got started a little bit just to get things rolling. We haven't missed much yet, just some sort of discussion.
Awesome.
We were just discussing what rules for haggling are in the game. I don't think there are any. If anything, I think it's probably a feat to do something like that. Okay, yeah. So it looks like, as far as I can see over online, it's not really a thing because yeah, the power level of the characters is managed pretty strictly by the economy. But there are feats like the Bargain Hunter feat, which lets you essentially earn income using diplomacy by hunting through markets for things that are going for cheaply and then reselling them at higher prices and stuff like that. So if you want to get that kind of flavor out of your character, that is available as a feat. But doesn't seem to be a general function of the diplomacy. The diplomacy skill. Cool. So we've got that answered, I think. Thank you for asking that question. I wasn't entirely sure either. But yeah, let's bring everyone over to the Otari map. And I'll give a little bit of recap. Last week, you all delved a little bit deeper into the tunnels underneath Otari, underneath the Otari fishery. You encountered a couple things. You encountered a pack of kobolds that were trying to shake open some sort of cage, some sort of vault that they were trying to break into. And you also, after taking them out and looting the vault, encountered a crypt that was long forgotten down underneath Otari from who knows what period in time in the past. It contained several skeletons and a zombie that popped out and tried to attack you. They appeared to be set there to guard whoever was in the main tomb, the main coffin of this catacomb. But you swiftly defeated them and got a couple of items out of it after all that. There was a very shiny shield, a torch that never goes out. It can be smothered but never completely run out of fuel. It'll just keep on burning forever. A few other things, some nice fancy swords and all sorts of stuff. And so, completely burdened with the loot you'd encountered in these rooms, as well as, stripping the armor and weapons and anything that might sell for a few coins off of all of your enemies, you decided to return to the surface to restock, get some fresh air, sell off all of this gear so you could take that profit and hopefully invest in some other equipment to go back down and deeper. And that's where you all find yourselves now, is emerging out of the fishery, back out into the town of Otari. Where to first?
I would like to have the unusual shield and unusual short sword looked at. I don't know who I would go to for that. Is it blades and blades for glades, or would I have to go to the library or something?
Yeah, so Blades for Glades is the primary smithy in town, like the biggest and most popular one. Um, it's where pretty much anyone gets all of their metalworked goods, either custom made there, or they'll just go there to buy a new sword or a new hoe or whatever they need, new axe, um, whatever tools or shields or weapons, armor, anything made of metal, you could probably find it there or get it custom made. You actually encountered the owner of Blades for Glades at the Tug of War Championship the other day. Carmen Rajani was sort of shoved aside by the owner of Galantine Deliveries, Ilaria Galantine, and she sort of took leadership over that situation on their team, allowed your bear to participate in the tug of war, and then, much to the dismay of Carmen Rajani, you won that championship. Despite him being so cocky and big and strong, and this muscular smith, he lost the tug of war. He was very upset about that. But that would be the number one smith in town to go to.
Okay, that's probably where I would go.
All right. So I assume the whole party would go there. I think you've got a lot of weapons and things to sell and stuff too, potentially.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
several regular weapons.
How would I go about buying an alchemist kit?
So a few options. Either if you can
'Cause
find
I-
it. Yeah.
I couldn't find it in any of the shops.
All right. So if you can't find something in any of the shops, you'd want to go to the Galantine Deliveries, and they will get an order out to Absalom and have something for you within a week or so, depending on the item, perhaps longer. So you might not be able to get it by the next time you go back down underground, but you could have it in the future for whatever comes next.
Okay.
If you need temporary use of an alchemist's kit or something, you might be able to convince a place like the Crow's Casks to let you use theirs. Although I'm sure that won't come for free, because Magaloy is very fond of her alchemy trade and her own tools and everything too. But you could do some convincing, throw some coin around, maybe, but no guarantees. But there's a possibility there. That's at least one avenue you could pursue. But let's head to Blades for Glades first, since that was called out. So you all head on over, and I feel like some of the party might have had a reason to go here in the past, but I feel like a lot of you perhaps haven't, right? Several of you are more spellcastery book nerds who probably don't really need any weapons or armor or things tuned up or repaired or crafted. But some of you are living out in the woods and probably needed the occasional axe sharpened or a new axe or whatever, different weapons and things you might require armor and so on. So who in the party would have been here to Blades for Glades before?
Probably my character.
Makes sense.
I would have absolutely not gone.
Fair enough.
That's probably where I got my armor, but I haven't been in since.
That makes sense. Yeah, have you got metal armor or just
I've got studded leather armor.
yeah, they probably would have put that together here. Yeah, that would make some sense.
Because I know that's for sale here.
Yeah.
And probably my mace as well.
Makes sense. Yeah, they sell all sorts of adventuring equipment here. At least the stuff in the actual shop here is things that might be of use to your characters. So there's a lot of things in there, but surprisingly, despite that massive stock of weapons and armor you can see there, they actually specialize more in saws, axes, and other tools used in the lumber trade. since that's the biggest export of the city, and so they tend to supply all of the tools needed for that. But that's of a little bit less concern for your character, so it's kind of omitted from the player-facing shop there. So as you approach the thing, there are probably several smiths there at Blaze for Glades working on, probably mostly smiths apprentices working underneath Carmen Rajani on various tools. You can see an axe being sharpened by one of the apprentices. You can see another is helping Carmen cool off a sword he's just been forging. But yeah, it's probably the middle of the day-ish, I think, is when you went underground before. Is that correct? I don't think you spent that long down there. A couple hours. If I recall correctly. So it's probably still
That
the middle of
sounds
the
about
day-ish.
right.
So yeah, they're all hard at work, getting their stores full of weapons once again, continuing to complete their orders and so on when you all walk in. Well, if it isn't the champions of the Tug of War Championship, welcome, come on in. What can we do for you today? I see you're carrying quite a lot.
Yeah, we found some stuff dealing with me as a player is blanking on the name of the person at the Otari fishery.
Tamily Tanderville.
Yeah. Miss Tanderville asked us to look into something for her, and we have some items to offload as a result of that.
I see. You will set aside, finish up some touches on the sword he was forging, hand it off to the apprentice that was with him to continue work on that piece as he walks over to all. Well, let's see what you've got then. Can't say I'll take anything here, but anything of decent quality will line our shelves very nicely. Anything of a lesser quality you might have more luck with over at the garrison. They may have more need of bulk, low-quality weapons, but show me what you've got.
So I have on my person 2 scimitars and a set of leather armor.
All right. And this was stuff from the kobolds, right?
Yeah,
Or was the scimitars from the skeletons?
I think scimitars might be from the skeletons, because I think the kobolds use...
The kobolds had
some
spears, I
things.
think.
Yeah.
Spears and slings.
So, yes, I think if the leather armor was from the kobolds, I think you would look that over and say, it's a bit rough. It's definitely been well worn. Craftsmanship could be better. You might want to take this to the garrison. I think they'll have better use for it. It will come in handy in an emergency if the guard ever needs extra armor for something. Handing things out to the townsfolk or whatever may be needed in case of an emergency. These swords, though. Quite old work. Not seen work like this in a long time. Stuff brought in from the woods long ago. These are well crafted. Fine work. I will absolutely buy these off you. And so he will buy those off you for just the going rate, half of the listed price of the item.
That would be 1 gold for the 2 of them.
Well,
Are we gonna put this all in a pot and split it 4 ways later? Is that what's happening with this?
you could do that if you want to.
That seems like a good idea.
I mean, at least until we have a better idea of who needs it more.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
So should I just delete the scimitars then and add a gold?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, go for it.
Or I'll actually, you know what? I'm a math person. I'll keep a list.
All right.
Me as Joanna. I'll keep a list from haggling, and then we can split it up at the end.
So there is a on the party sheet, if you hit P, there is a stash tab if you want to put things in there too. Which normally we'd want there to be an actual location or bag that this all goes into so that you don't all just get free carrying space, right? But if you are, you know, we could even call a current stash location like Ashay's apartment or something, right? Like some place in town that's separate from your character's inventories where you could put stuff like, whatever. Probably doesn't matter too much, but just so we keep, the weight levels at accurate levels. And then that will give you a way to split things up later, nice and easily as well. There's a button in there where we can click it and it'll like automatically divide up all the coins once you're done and stuff. Yeah, handy.
Okay. I think I accidentally deleted the scimitars. Do you think you can add them back where they belong?
Yes. Back into your inventory?
Either
guess
that or
that
the
makes
one
sense.
gold coin to the stash.
Yes,
For
I can do
now.
that. 1 gold coin to the stash. One gold coin to the stash. There we go. Excellent. Yes, these scimitars will need sharpening, but he will like turn around without even looking, just hold the scimitars back, one in each hand, and like an apprentice will just kind of walk quietly up behind him, grab them from him, and take them back deeper into the smithy. Is there anything else interesting to show me?
I've also got a couple more scimitars like that. You'd like them?
Absolutely. If they're the same quality, I'll take them for the same price.
I will hand them over for inspection.
All right. And if those are just normal scimitars, is it 2 of them?
Yep.
All right. I'll give you 1 gold piece for the both.
Okay.
And then I have a couple things that I would like you to look at, and then a couple things I would be interested in you purchasing. And I'll put a regular short sword on the table, the finely crafted short sword, and I will say these are potential to be purchased, but I would like you to look at this shield and sword first, because I don't know what's up with them, but maybe you could tell me.
All right. So I'll take a look at the shield first. Is there a way for you to throw those in the chat so it's easier for me to look at them? So I don't have to search through your character sheet for them?
How do I do that?
I think there should be a button on the left side of them, like when you hover over them. Like the icon will turn into a chat box button.
Yeah, I think it's broken because it was in my backpack, maybe?
Perhaps. So let's see. There was the shield you said, right? Oh, maybe it's because it's not identified. That might be why. That makes sense. Okay, so that's fine. I'll just look at them in your inventory. So you've got the unusual shield here, which he will go ahead and make a check to identify. I think that makes the most sense here. That's interesting. Okay, this stat block is probably incorrect because it says that the smith doesn't have proficiency in crafting. So probably just used a commoner stat block or something instead. But I'll say he's a very, very high-ranking smith around these parts. So I'll just go ahead and roll that with a level-based bonus. Okay, so he will identify the shield to be a just very high quality shield, essentially. It is well made, so this is fine work. Nothing incredible about it as far as the material structure goes, but a lot of artistry went into this. I haven't seen this kind of handiwork in quite a while. This would make a fine addition to our shelves, and who knows, we might be able to sell it to some traveling noble who comes through here looking for, very, very expensive, fancy-looking trinkets. I'll give you 2.5 gold pieces for it.
All right, I will sell it for
2
that.
gold, 5 silver.
I don't need the ornamentation. I have a steel shield that does the trick, so I'm fine adding that to the stash.
Yes, your shield should hold up just as well as this one. This is just nice and fancy and ornamental. All right, so if you get rid of that from inventory, I'll go ahead and add the extra gold there.
Okay, delete item. Yes.
Did
And then I'll
I
look-
delete the scimitars?
Yes, yeah, if you sold them,
Okay.
delete them.
Up.
No double counting loot. And I'll look at the sword. Which, let me click the thing. There we go. Okay. Yes, I see. I'll handle it and kind of swing it through the air a few times. And... Yes, you see this, these runes here on the side of the blade, just above the hilt, right? Very small down there. He kind of angles it towards you, so the light catches these very faint engravings on the flat of the blade. That's Rune of Potency right there. I'm sure you noticed it if you've swung it. It looks like it's gotten some recent use as he's kind of turning it over and looking at, the way it appears blood was on the blade and was recently cleaned off and stuff. It's not like a dusty, rusted blade. It's in very good condition. And now this is quite a treasure. If you want me to take this off your hands, I would give you 17 gold, 5 silver.
I'm not exactly versed with swords myself, but what exactly does a potency rune do? It hasn't come up in my studies. I apologize.
It makes the blade cut through air and metal and flesh and anything else much easier. If I were to put a number on it, say on a scale from 1 to 20, it would make it about 1 out of 20 easier to hit your target.
I see. So 5% boost. That sounds pretty good.
Yes, a 5% boost, exactly.
Do I keep that and sell the regular short sword? Probably, but 17 gold. Ugh.
I mean, it would be a lot harder to find a sort of equal worth without spending much more than that to acquire it, I think, right?
Indeed, and I will say as well, the sword itself is of fine craftsmanship as well. If there's a different weapon you prefer the feel of in your hand, I could transfer this rune onto your other weapon, but you'd need to leave both weapons here with me during the process. And, I will take this sword as payment for that activity, or you could pay me 4 gold pieces and keep the fancy sword afterwards.
Oh, so you can transfer it to my rapier?
You could if you wanted him to. Yeah, you'd have to leave the weapons with him for a bit, but yeah.
I mean, I can use the short sword for a delve.
You'd need to leave the items with me for about 4 days. And then I could get this done for you. These runes, not easy to work with.
Okay, I would be fine with that.
Right, and I'll keep the sword when I'm done, and you get the rune and your sword back, yes?
Yes, sounds good for me.
All right,
And then the final thing I will do is put the finely crafted short sword on the table and ask him if he wants to buy it.
Okay, I'm just going to take your rapier, because I assume that's the one you wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And the finely crafted short sword. Ah, yes, very nice. Just as high quality as the last one, really. This one I'd buy off you for 2 gold, 5 silver.
I will do that.
Excellent. All right, so I'll add that money to your stash.
And I will delete item.
And Sky, I see you posted a question about where did the swords go. Is that did you get that answered?
That was
or-
before I asked, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Several different swords. I'll be able to show my apprentices as extra examples of things to strive for. You've got good stuff so far. Anything else? Any other good business?
I mean, the only other thing I have is this gold ring. Don't know if it's worth melting down or using to put into something a little more decorative.
Well, the gold ring is something I could take off your hands, for certain. Even if we don't use it here particularly, that's something that'll hold its value fairly well if we were to resell it. So, yeah, we could take that off your hands if you wish, yes. So the gold ring in question was worth how much?
5 gold pieces.
5 gold pieces. All right, so yeah. 2 gold pieces and 5 silver.
For me.
And then I have one more thing, and I will point to the mace. I don't know if it's on a wall or where it is, but I will say, would I be able to purchase that mace? It might be more effective against some of the stuff we were dealing with than the swords that I had.
You need a mace. I can give you one.
You have a mace?
I have a mace. I haven't used it, but I have it.
Are you sure you don't want it?
What I use it for? I carry a torch, and I have my sling.
You do seem to be out of hands.
Well, if you wouldn't mind me using it, I think it would be more effective against those things that we faced than the swords.
Oh. I will give you my mace. I don't know exactly how to do that. I guess I can put it in the stash and then you can take it from the stash?
That works.
Thank you. Well, I think that was all I wanted to do here. And I will be back in 4 days to collect my rapier.
Good doing business with all of you.
I think we do need to stop by the garrison next, right?
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Carmen did recommend you head to the garrison with any lower quality weapons and armor, because they would probably be willing to accept that.
You
Their
really just
stockpiles
called
are-
our weapons garbage? I can't believe it.
That's
No, I
just
think
more
it was
that-
the armor, not the weapons.
So far, it was just the armor that you showed him, yeah. But you could probably assume that the spears were as well. I mean, even all of you, even those of you who are untrained in crafting, can probably tell that all of the kobolds stuff is not particularly great. You know, a lot of it is like, you know, made of bits of bone and like twine wrapped around sticks and things. It's functional, but it's not like, you know, fancy metal, like really good weapons and stuff.
It's kobold stuff.
Yep. All right, so you head off to the garrison, where there are a couple of the Otari guardsmen outside. Greetings, citizens. What can we do for you today?
There would like to offload if you could use an extra set. Leather armor, that is.
And a few weapons.
Yes, well, we're always looking to stock up in case of emergencies, of course. We'll take a look at what you've got. You're lucky that Captain Longsaddle isn't in today. The guards exchange a look with each other. Come on in, come on in.
Where's Captain Longsaddle?
Captain Longsaddle is the captain of the guard here, and he is he's a very bitter old man who really kind of sticks the law to everyone, really, as much as he can, and has he's not very lenient. Let's say he's the cop in the city you don't want to be caught doing anything by for any reason. Yeah, he's the one who will do maximum charges every time and like really push that all the way down the line. And since he's the captain of the guard, he can kind of get away with it. And that plus, he'll probably be the type to you try to sell things to him. If he's there, he'll override the other guards and try to give you a worse deal and that kind of stuff. He's just kind of nasty. Short-tempered,
Gotcha.
very strict.
I already don't like him.
Yep. You've probably all at least heard of his reputation, even if you're more new in town and haven't encountered him directly. But I think all of you have definitely seen him around town, even if you haven't had, unfortunate run-ins with him. Yes. So I'll just say to skip over the garrison stuff. They'll just buy basically any weapons and armor you have, unless they're like totally trashed and rusty stuff. If you ever get in a situation where, oh no, acid melted my sword or something like that, they won't buy it. But if it's, anything else, that's probably fine. So whatever you want to get rid of, just let me know how much it costs. And I'll just add it to the party sheet. Because they're willing to stockpile random stuff. And you never know when a big stockpile of weapons would help if there's an invasion of something or whatever. There's a lot of random times here in Otari where things will just happen around the town, and things will come out of the forest, and all the townsfolk who are all have an adventurous spirit will just rise up, take weapons out, and help the guard out and stuff like that. So the guard keeps a big stockpile of weapons just in case.
So in my inventory to get rid of, I've got 12 gold worth of short bows and 4 gold worth of leather armor. That is full price, not half price.
Okay,
To
so
clarify.
I'll add 8 gold to the stash.
Alright, I will delete those.
One set of leather armor worth 2 golds, so that would be 1 gold for the stash.
All right.
And I have 1 set of leather armor, so there's another gold.
All right. Did anyone pick up spears and stuff off the kobolds?
I didn't have the space in my inventory.
I did not. I saw they were 9 silver, so I didn't think they would
Yeah.
get as much.
Not a huge deal. That's fine.
They weren't worth the wait to me.
Okay, so assuming that's everything then, is that pretty much all the stuff you wanted to sell in general?
I did want to check out whatever functions as like an herbalist or potion maker and get that unusual liquid checked out.
Makes sense. So Crow's Casks, where you were previously, is probably the best alchemist in town, as far as all of that goes. Although Rin's Wonders, Rin Savinsky, would have at least some like magical ability to potentially identify some things, but as far as alchemical stuff specifically, Crow's Cask is probably your better bet.
Right. So I would take it over to her and see what we've got there.
All right, so what potion was this? Let's see, it's in your inventory here, right? Okay.
Mhm. It's an unusual liquid.
Okay, so yeah, Magloy will take a look over it and say, kind of hold it up to light and tilt it back and forth, and seems to recognize it pretty immediately, but is still kind of puzzled by it a little bit. And Magloy, quiet as always, will just say, handing it back to you. Healing potion. Old recipe. Old.
Old make it stronger or weaker?
Same. Old.
Okay.
Just
How old do you think? If you had to guess.
Centuries.
Oh.
Not bad though. It's a good potion. Just old. We don't use that recipe anymore. We have cheaper ways to make potions now. But functions as a healing potion. Should work. And yeah, she'll
Alright.
identify that. And it's functionally just another minor healing potion. It's just a different recipe than you would see around town usually.
Do the old ones taste better?
She starts to uncork it to taste it. Like, I'm not sure.
Does it age like a wine?
Uncorks it, pours a little drop out onto her hand, and then licks it up with her long bird tongue. Puts the cork back on. Nah, same. Earthier.
Oh. I have to look into the effects of potion aging to see if it has any changed taste.
Do you say this aloud?
Yeah, I think to myself. Or
You
like
speak
mumble to
out.
myself.
Okay, you mumble to yourself.
Yeah.
Minor difference taste. Mostly different recipe. Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Probably be back in a bit.
All right. So where to next for our group of adventurers?
Once gold is divided up, I would buy at least one, if not two, potions of healing
Here,
from
let
the
me
library.
do that. The gold has been divided
4
up as
gold, 3
evenly.
silver each.
Been divided up as much as it can be, but there's still a few leftover coins because it couldn't be divided evenly. But y'all could make change or whatever if you want to. But yeah, that's the current state.
How much do we get?
It should have automatically gone onto your character sheet.
Okay, cool.
4 gold pieces, 3 silver each. So what did you say you were going to buy?
I was gonna I'll buy 2 minor healing potions from the library.
Oh, yeah, go for it. All right, so are you guys heading back down underground? Or are you going to look for other stuff up here on the surface? What's your plan now? More shopping?
Arrange to get a set of alchemist tools.
All right, so you can put an order out for that. If you've got the cost already up, you can go ahead and just spend that cost. And then, let's see.
I mean, I found it in the compendium browser and I can just remind myself that I can't use it yet.
Yeah, that works. So how many bulk is that item?
Sec. Carried bulk 1.
Carried bulk 1. Okay, so that's actually a pretty cheap delivery. It will cost you 5 copper pieces to get that delivered instead of just buying it locally. And then, or if you really want to rush it, you could rush order it for much more expensive, but that's like the normal rate is 5 copper pieces. That'll take about a week Otherwise, if you want to rush it, it could be as close as 2 days.
I'll wait the week.
All right. So about a week from now, you'll get that those alchemist supplies in the mail.
I'd also like to place an order
All right.
for. Oh, I would like to get a cantrip deck of Read Aura and I want the second one.
Of Read Aura, huh? I see.
Ouch.
Yes.
I will just stick with Read Aura.
All right. So I'm assuming the deck is probably another 1 bulk. So that'll be
Probably.
5 copper pieces.
Copper, I thought it was gold.
So sorry.
Oh,
5 copper pieces for the
but yeah.
delivery. 5 gold pieces for the item, if that's what it costs.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
put that order right in.
Coins, 5 gold, 5 copper. I believe I'm all set for shopping after that.
All right. Any other shopping, or are you gonna plan on surface activities, going back underground? What are we doing? Marcella
Needed a
did.
night's rest, right?
Yeah,
Potentially.
I'm still not at full health, so if we could at least heal and get to full health before going back under, whether that's a night or just an hour or 2.
Yeah, potentially could just be another hour or 2 if you do some treat wounds spam. Marcella, did Oswin need to do anything in town while we're up here?
No, I think he's all set.
Okay, just double checking.
I can't think of anything I'd want to buy.
Very fair. Yeah, you don't have a ton of money around yet, so that's understandable. Plus, you already have a pretty sweet sling staff, so.
Yes, he's very happy with his current loadout.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'll say it's probably somewhere around like 2 or 3 p.m. today. So if you wanted to, stop and just, go about your own businesses for the rest of the day and then sleep, you could. Although, whatever's happening underground could progress a little bit. Or you could spend an hour or 2, get it closer to like 5 p.m., get everybody healed up a little bit, and then go from there. But that's up to you all. What's your plan?
I personally am all right to head back underground today, but I don't know about y'all.
Not to heal anyone in combat yet today, so I think I'd be okay.
Yeah, I would just like some healing before we go back, but I'm good to go down under today.
Need some wounds treated. As far as
I can help you with that.
party members with the most HP loss are Ogden and Eshe currently. Everyone's
I
pretty well
will
topped up.
try and heal Ogden.
I can do treat wounds on myself, can't I?
Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and get those rolls. DC 18. 15. I don't know why I said 18. My brain literally just filled in that number with a different number. And we'll see if you're able to complete the full hour or not, or if you have to take an extra hour to. All right, Oswin passes. So So if you want to sit here for the full hour, you could get 2 rolls of your treat wounds done. Unfortunately, Ashay, you do not get anything during this first hour. I believe the basic treat wounds is just 1d8. Is that right? And then you're getting 2d8 for spending an hour. Treat wounds. On a success, 2d8 hit points. So you spend, it's 4d8 hit points for Ogden.
So I roll 4d8.
Yep. Sheesh. Big heals.
How did the library roll that?
Because you probably had it highlighted.
He just starts like shoving like herbal remedies into your wounds, and you're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then he just like, fine. He just wraps it all up.
Yeah, I only needed to heal 6 HP.
It burns for just a second, but then the burn becomes like a pleasant tingle, and you're feeling all right. Do we want to spend another hour and see if we can patch up Ashay as well?
Would enjoy Ashay having health since our healer, yeah. Or most
I haven't
consistent healer.
lost like third of my health yet. Like I'm doing okay.
Yeah, no, you don't have
Should
to
we
spend the
send it?
hour. You don't
To you
want to.
guys. Are there like exhaustion rules for staying up too late and stuff like that?
I believe there is something like that. Yes.
Alright, well, I will
But
spend
it's
another
only
hour.
like 4 p.m. currently. Yep, that's a pass. So if you spend the full hour, that'll be 48.
I can just spend the first 10 minutes though, right?
You could just spend the first 10 minutes for the 2d8, yeah, and then it wouldn't have to be the full hour. That's true.
Can I do that and then decide to see if I need to spend the whole hour?
Yeah, that's fine with me. I think
Oh,
that
I
makes sense.
used the wrong slash.
Oops. Okay. The resting rules. Yes, fatigue is what you get if you do not sleep. You can go 16 hours without sleep without getting fatigued, it looks like. Yes, that makes sense. Looks like fatigue is mostly a travel thing, slowing you down in travel and stuff.
Alright, yeah, I'm fine.
Nice. Oh wait, here's the condition. Okay, so fatigue is actually much nastier than I thought. So if you do not sleep within 16 hours, which you've all been up for 12, so you got plenty of time. 10, something, I don't know. You got plenty of time until you start getting fatigued, but it's a -1 penalty to armor class and saving throws, and you cannot use exploration activities while traveling. So you wouldn't be able to sneak or search or anything. You would just have to walk around, without being cautious and stuff, basically. All you could do is move around, so. All right.
Full potato mode.
But for now, you still got plenty of hours until that'll start kicking in. So, let us get back underground. And as I recall, there are a few things you've noted along your path. You identified a trap in the room ahead of you, a short hallway of only about 15 feet. And a little bit back the path, the way you came, there was a short cliff up in the wall, and then an entrance with a very old-looking door, which you have not yet opened. So, a couple options ahead of you. Which one would you like to explore?
Should we do the cliff first?
Anything at this point.
I
Yeah,
think it might be smart to at least see what's up there, in case there's something that might want to come up behind us.
Sounds like a good idea. Hate to get ambushed.
it works for me. Whenever we get to the trap, I can attempt to disarm it, but only when the party is ready.
So as you all head up towards that short cliff, it's not too high, but it is a little slippery, much like the last one. There's just a general dampness down here in this underground place, and you can still occasionally hear little bits of running water coming from somewhere. Water leaking in through like the ceiling from somewhere else and stuff like that. In order to scale this, you're gonna need to give me a DC 10 athletics skill check. Not too difficult, but not free.
Gonna light a torch so I can see.
Very fair.
Right. I forgot that I was the one with the torch, and I just kind of like walked up to the cliff.
Well, I normally also carry a torch. Can I send Nocti up?
If Nocti can make a athletics check, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god. Nocti probably leaps most of the way up in a single jump, just like
That's
jumps.
not Nocti.
Ogden leaps most of the way up in a single jump. You just kind of jump up there and like grab the ledge without even like having to climb the side of it and just pull yourself up directly instead of having to like scale the side. All right. So Nocti unfortunately kind of scrabbles against the slippery side, unable to find a purchase with her claws, and can't really get too high. Oswin, unfortunately, the wall's kind of tall, and you're a halfling.
Oh.
Sadly, it's difficult for you to make much progress, and you start sliding back down. But
It do be like that.
It do be like that. Ashay does manage to make it up. Perhaps, Ashay, you take a bit of a slower, more methodical and wise approach to get up the wall, and you make it up very safely.
Oh yeah, Ashay knows that she's not impressively strong and doesn't work out, but she can do it if she thinks.
And Ayla probably tries the same thing Nocti does, tries to like just run up and grip the wall and just slides right down again.
Yep.
Is this door locked?
It is not.
Could we lower a rope and get our friends up before we start opening doors, or?
I'd appreciate a rope. I'm not that strong or good at climbing.
I do have another 50 feet of rope.
I should also have some rope on hand. Do
But
I?
is there enough room for everyone up on this ledge?
Technically, yeah. I mean, you're both taking up the squares are more for combat spacing, right? That's like a 10-foot gap. You could fit a bunch of people, if you pack in closer up on top of the cliff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the rope. Yeah. I'll make the DC lower with the rope if you just hold that out for them. And then whoever's holding the rope down for them can give an athletics check as well. And that'll be like an aid check to see if you give them a boost on the way up as well.
Okay. I can
Yeah, I was gonna say you seem more athletically inclined than I do.
All right. So Ogden's holding down the rope. The DC is going to be lower because you have a rope, and Ogden pulling up will also give you a +1. So if the rest of you want to make it up, go ahead and give me more athletics checks with a +1.
I'm sending Nocti first. Nocti is stronger than I am.
The thought of a cat climbing a rope is also pretty funny.
You got this, Nocti.
Nocti grabs the rope with between her little paws and just starts to, like, one after the other, claw into the rope, claw into the rope, and just pulls herself right up.
Oh, what a good girl. And then I will attempt to follow my cat.
All right, you make it up as well. Just one hand over the other, Ogden pulling from the top. You manage to make your way up the cliff.
Oh, thanks for the rope.
You're welcome.
I don't think I would have made it up without help.
Easily this time. The rope makes all the difference when trying to climb a slippery surface like this. And even though your feet occasionally slip, your arms have got you full strength the entire time, and you make it up very quickly. So
All
even
right,
though
come on,
there's
Coda.
Oh, yeah, Coda.
Oh god.
Ogden, time to brace. Okay, because of the lower DC from having the rope, that is a success.
Oh, I think you forgot the +1 circumstance
Wonderful.
bonus as well.
So definitely a success either way. So everyone makes it up the cliff safely. I think with Coda involved here, it's probably like grab the rope in his mouth and then trying to just claw with his claws on the wall all the way up, while multiple people up top just pull the rope to get Coda up. But you manage. You get the bear up there.
Yeah, he's not a big bear. He's a little bear.
Yeah, true.
And I'm happy I bought the climbing kit.
Yes.
'Cause without that, I wouldn't have
Oh,
had the
I
extra 50 feet of rope.
That came in clutch.
All right. So, yeah, you wiggled the door a little bit earlier, Ogden, to see if it was locked, and it did not appear to be. And though there is no room on the map for you all to put your tokens up there, we'll assume for logistics' sake you're all up there, and if you need to disperse, you can be. So, you open the door?
I would probably lean over to Shay and say, "Hey, do you hear anything?"
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we did earlier, but it's been a couple hours since then.
So this
You're
is a good
right.
reminder for me to ask, what is everyone doing as you enter this room? Are people sneaking,
heck.
searching?
Sneaking.
Searching.
All right.
But
Search
forgot.
before opening the door.
Yes, go ahead and you can
I'll
do
be
like an
sneaky.
active search.
Should I add the Whisper Elf bonus?
The Whisper Elf bonus.
It's like a +2 circumstance bonus. Locate audible undetected within range.
Hold on. Why do I not see that on your feats?
Because it's part of my racial abilities?
Right, I see, okay.
It's heritage.
That makes sense. I was just trying to find the rules for it, and I thought it would put it under feet, so I guess it just didn't. But yeah, now we got it. So yes, +2 circumstance bonus to locate undetected creatures. Yeah, just I think how we'll handle that. It seems like there's not a lot of great guidance for running this type of elf with these kind of checks, but I think how we'll handle that is essentially, if there is something undetected from you, I'll just try and add that +2 after the fact, if that makes sense. Because it's hard for you to know to add a +2 to a roll when you don't know if there's something to roll against, right? If that makes sense.
Mhm.
I think normally with these checks, if we were playing pen and paper, I would be the one rolling the die anyways and then telling you the total, so I would just add the +2 then. But since we're doing over Foundry, I'll just add the +2 after the fact, if it's, relevant. So listening at the door before you open it, you hear pretty much nothing. No movement at all on the other side of the store.
I don't hear anything. Should we each open the door on 3?
What works for me?
All right. 1, 2, 3.
All right. The door creaks open on rusty hinges and sort of grinds against the stone floor, revealing this very old, ruined chamber beyond. There's mold and rot staining every surface. And on the far side of the room is a stone statue of a giant squid, its tentacles reaching towards an altar in the middle of the room. The scum covers almost everything, but it hasn't touched a silver bowl sitting in the middle of the altar. What do you do?
I would probably search for traps before we enter the room.
All right. Give me a perception check. Secret,
Is this
of course.
secret?
Indeed.
Perception. Roll. The blind GM roll.
Well, you look through the room, and it's kind of hard to see through all the muck everywhere, this weird mold, and how it seems like this room is even more damp than everything you've been in so far. But you don't see anything weird. No trick tiles, no tripwires, nothing that catches your attention.
Okay. Doesn't seem like there are any traps. At least I can't find any. I don't know if we want to go explore this room.
It's probably worth looking at, right? Like, there's got to be something. Like, what is the silver bowl doing there? Strikes me as out of place.
I was more concerned with why is it not tarnished and covered in gunk?
Oh, silver is very tarnishable. I feel like that's not the right word, but it does. It tarnishes easily. That's true.
Not
And
only
concerning.
is it untarnished, there's like a layer of almost slime and mold on everything in this room, but the bowl seems perfectly clean. Like there's no mold or slime or anything touching it. Like it's perfectly dry, even. Like there's just nothing on it.
Tarnish it, if you will.
So when the hinges opened, does it seem like this is a room that's opened frequently, or has it been a while?
It seems like it's not really been disturbed. It seems like, it doesn't seem like it's opened frequently. No.
The door is probably made a like arc thing in the sludge or something like that as it opened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like no one's been in here in a while, so I'm not sure why that would be clean. I'm not really a magic person, so I would defer to your judgment.
I can't detect magic, but using logic, it seems like it would be magical.
Do I know anything about cults in this region? 'Cause it feels culty.
Give me a
Oh.
religion recall knowledge.
Uh,
You may as well, Shay, if you wanted to
can I
jump into
make
that.
an argument for lore underworld?
I think if you're, I don't think that would be culty stuff. No.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Underworld would be more like thieves guildy stuff. Um, Crime.
Occultism.
Occultism would be more culty. This is a religion check.
Okay.
And is it GM blind?
This time, yes. I guess it would be. This is recall knowledge. Actually, let me double check something real quick because I think Ayala, you might have a good reason to. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I apologize. I got lost in the sauce a little bit here, but Ayala, you've seen this squid statue before, all over the place, actually. Indeed. And Ashay, this doesn't look too particularly familiar to you. Maybe you've seen it somewhere before, but you can't quite pinpoint it. But Ayala, you've seen squid statues like this all over the library you work and live at. This appears to you to be a shrine to Gazre, the god of nature and the fury of the ocean.
Well, convenient. Wait, I think I recognize this. This is a shrine to what's their name again? I'm saying
Gazre.
this out loud, trying to think. Uh, actually,
Gazre, sorry.
Gazre. I think. Yeah, they have statues at the library.
Hmm. Explain the damp.
Do you happen to know why
Does anyone enter the room?
these?
Or are you all just staying at the cliff here again? Sorry to interrupt.
Enter.
I probably would have entered the room recognizing the statue.
Okay. And sorry to interrupt, Ogden. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna ask Ayla if they told us that this was a water
Absolutely
god.
not. Because I probably don't remember that much.
You work at the library. Well, that's fair.
Ayla is not smart,
So you just
and this is
recognize
not her
it
god.
as the god Gazre?
Uh, yes, and probably that there's something nature-y related.
Okay. I think any of you who have any proficiency in religion would know that Gazre is a god of the sea and nature. Yeah. Even if you don't, there's probably a good chance, considering the region you're in and how strongly Gazre is worshipped here. But yeah. So I'll let each of you decide that for your own characters. But yes, doesn't
I
appear to be
am
a cult.
trained in religion.
Alright, so yeah, you would recognize the name Gazre, and then that clicks in your mind, like, oh yeah, that's where I've seen this statue before. Okay, this makes sense.
I am not trained in religion, so probably
I'm not
not.
either.
Well, as you all enter the room as well, you can see that the silver, uh, the the silver bowl sitting on the altar is not just like perfectly clean, but it's also full of. Now that you've got like a closer angle on it, you can see it's almost full of like perfectly clear, perfectly smooth water, almost like a mirror.
Can I look into the water and see what happened?
Sure. So you go up to the water and you look in and you see your own reflection. Nothing else. Just, I mean, probably the reflection of the ceiling and whatever, but
Yeah.
and it's not a perfect mirror either. Like you can see the bottom of the bowl. It's just, very, very pure water.
Interesting.
How long do you think that water's been there for?
Well, I'm no expert, but judging by the state of the room, probably at least a little while. I
I'll
should
start
have just
checking out the statue.
ended that sentence with, "Well, I'm no expert."
What did you say, Marcelo?
So I'll start checking out the statue.
Sure, yeah. Give me a perception check.
Should we leave an offering or something?
That might be smart. I'm not sure.
You look over the statue, and it's covered in the same kind of slime and mold that the rest of the room is covered in. Doesn't look out of the ordinary to you otherwise. It's a pretty old-looking statue.
Is the altar also grimy and it's literally just the bowl, or is the altar fairly clean as well?
Correct. Yeah, just the bowl is clean. The altar is pretty slimy.
I take a piece of silver out of my pouch and I hold it up above the bowl, waiting a moment to see if anybody objects.
I'm just gonna shrug at Ashe.
All right, I'm gonna drop the silver into the bowl.
All right. The silver blinks beneath the surface, and the ripples spread out to the edge of the bowl, come back towards each other in the middle, and then unnaturally quickly, the surface of the water is calm again. Perfectly smooth, like a
Is the
mirror.
coin still at the bottom?
The coin's still at the bottom.
Okay.
And I think you start to hear a voice, Ashe. It was you who are... You've given an offering, and you are also, in some way or another, attuned to these divine powers, not necessarily of Gosre, but some sort of power outside yourself has both blessed and cursed you. And you have this easier connection to that side of the universe. And you just hear this deep voice, almost like the crashing of waves, but distant, say to you, "Drink deep."
I will I will bow my head for a moment, like center myself, because, gods are powerful, and then I'll do what I'm told.
All right. So give me a fortitude save, and I will give you a +2 circumstance bonus on this, since you gave an offering.
Are you feeling all right, Ashe?
As Ashe, yeah, lifts the bowl and just begins to drink the water.
One sec, because I figure out how fortitude saves work.
I'm gonna
Or
rapidly
adding circumstance bonuses.
flick through my spellbook and find my heal spell scroll just in case.
Oof.
So as you drink this water, it doesn't taste bad. There's no like poisonous element to it or anything weird like that. It tastes like just the purest water you've ever tasted. But as it goes down your throat and it hits your stomach, you start to feel this surge of power, not unlike that of your own surge of power that happens to you when you draw upon your divine magic. But this one almost feels like the churning of waves within you, within your stomach, the swirling of the waters and the liquids of your body that are not meant to swirl and wave and splash around, as your body is unable to handle the surge of power that was just passed through it. And you're unfortunately going to take saltwater sickness, which is a -1 status penalty to all of your d20 rolls, your armor class, and your spell DCs for an hour while you are essentially extremely seasick.
Oof. Okay.
And you set the bowl down, and even though you felt like you drank a lot of the water, it is full again.
What?
Well, if somebody else wants to make an offering and maybe hear a voice, maybe somebody a little tougher than me can deal with it.
Okay. I suppose it's worth a shot. Um, I'm gonna drop a silver coin in.
And you hear that same voice, just that drink deep.
I'm gonna shake my head a little bit, and then I'll take up the bowl and drink from it.
Oh, another fortitude save +2.
Fortitude +2, add 28.
Woo! All right. So you feel this power rush into you, and you being in tune with the elements, you're able to handle this surge of power a little bit better. Perhaps just also a function of what you ate today or something. There's just you
Fire
manage to
and water
handle the
don't mix too
seasickness.
well.
That's true as well. You manage to push down the seasickness, you push past the uneasiness, and you just feel the power growing within you. So instead, you are going to get the Ocean's Might effect. So, in the next hour, if you can call upon the Ocean's Might to fortify yourself against harm as a reaction one time. If you are hit by a critical hit on an attack, this ability turns the critical hit into an ordinary hit.
Okay. I like that. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So you feel like you're a little bit hardier as the ocean has fortified you.
I will set the bowl down, look back at Eshe. It tasted weirdly zippy for water.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very confused.
It didn't settle well with me. I don't think the whole flame thing, and I guess produce flame,
Hmm.
is supposed to mix with waves.
That makes sense. I I don't know why it had a different effect for me at all. Can't even I can't produce water.
I don't know.
Thank you for the reminder on the XP. Yes, 20 XP to everyone. Woo, XP.
390.
Anyone else want to drink deep before you head out of here?
Sure, we're getting cursed.
Fair enough. Do you drop a coin in first or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you drop a silver in, then it's a +2.
Alright. Fortitude, circumstance +2.
All right, you also are fortified by the waves, so you get that Ocean's Might, so you can negate one critical hit against yourself within the next hour.
I don't even think it added the +2 bonus.
It looks like it didn't, but you still made it, so.
I'll do the same.
All right. See what happens.
Ogden, I think you might have removed the condition from yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
thought
got
it
you.
said right click to read. It said right click to remove.
Also a success. So you also get the Ocean's Might. Boom. You feel that surging power of the ocean behind you. And despite all of you having taken a nice deep drink of water here, once again, the bowl is perfectly full.
Oh, that is so strange. Ashay, do you think you feel well enough for us to go take a look at that trap in the other chamber?
I'll be fine.
Alright. Well, should we make our way over? I feel like we probably shouldn't disturb this chamber much more.
That's probably a good idea.
All right. Getting down the cliff is thankfully much easier, and this is a much shorter drop than the previous cliff that you went down. So no need to make checks on your way down. Not really a risk of danger here.
Knocked you down the cliff.
Yeet. So you're all able to get down out of this weird shrine chamber and back into the dank but less dank tunnels underneath Otari.
All right, now it's time to disarm a trap.
All right. So go ahead and
I'm-
give me. Yes, go ahead.
I'm gonna cast guidance.
Ooh, good idea.
I was also going to use a hero point and ask how those work.
If you spend your hero point, you get to roll twice and take the greater.
Cool. I'm going to use one.
All right, so go ahead and give me a thievery check because you do have your thieves tools with you, right?
Yeah.
All right, excellent.
All right. Is this public or private?
Public. You'll know if you fail.
All right. Roll 1 and roll 2.
And the guidance +1 brings that up to a 20, which is plenty. So you walk up there, and there's a couple of ways you could tackle this. You notice there's the plate underneath the floor where the actual tile floor kind of buckles inwards and triggers the trap. And then when you notice that, you look up from there, and you can see that the ceiling tile as well. There's some like scrapes on it. Looks like it kind of slides to the side or something like that. And you're not sure what will fall out of that. You think it's probably easier to brace the plate on the floor and have everyone walk across it very gingerly. So you kind of just jam that plate so it won't actually slide downwards anymore, and you've successfully disarmed it. That is 8 XP for disarming the trap for everyone.
Woo.
Ooh.
And I will reinforce to everyone, walk over it carefully.
What should our total XP be now?
I think 398.
That's what I've got.
That's what I've got.
All right. Almost halfway to a level.
Yeah, 40% ish. Well, see what's through this door then.
All right, I will. Before I open it, I'll kind of look at Ashay and see if there's any sounds.
All right, one sec.
Perception check. Yeah, you listen ahead of you, trying to hear anything that could be beyond the stone door, but you don't hear any shuffling or voices or anything. It seems pretty empty in there.
Okay. Is the door locked? Do I need to use thieves' tools?
It's not locked.
Okay. I'm just gonna open it.
All right.
And
So the door glides open very easily, and then you see behind it a long room. There are two stone statues. You can barely see one to your left and one barely at the far end of the room, which isn't quite revealed on the map, but you can probably see it. They're statues of priests in the corners of the room, and they're both kind of facing the center of the room. And in the middle of the room, you can see a much, much larger statue of a man holding out both of his hands, palms up. In front of the statue is a stone altar holding 9 golden coins. A voice booms out from the statue as soon as the door opens. In my hands I judge the value of all wealth, raising up whichever is greater. One of these coins is a deception. Find it using only 2 judgments and receive my blessing. What y'all do?
I would probably gingerly enter the room and check for any like traps or anything in the room.
All right, secret perception check.
Secret perception check. Do.
All right, you glance around and don't see any weird tiles or tripwires or anything. Seems fine.
What do you think the statue means by judgment?
I assume it means we need to figure out which gold coin is real in two guesses. Or two. I think we can do 2 things to the coins to figure out which one is real.
Would I know how malleable gold is?
I'll also just post what he said in chat.
I thought we were looking for the coin that was fake.
You are looking for the coin that is fake, yes. Would you know how malleable gold is? Is that what you're asking?
Yep.
I feel like that's. Are you proficient in crafting? I feel like that might be.
Yes,
the
I
thing.
am. I'm trained in crafting.
Probably, yeah.
I could try and heat the metal and see what happens.
So when it says 2 judgments, does that mean we can do 2 things to all 9 coins, or is it 2 things to 2 different coins? Or do we not know?
I think we're gonna find out pretty soon.
All you know is the words the statue spoke to you.
Okay.
I don't think I have any way to tell these sorts of things apart. I think I know a little bit about forgery, but
While we're in here, something I should ask as well. Ashay and Ayla, you two are trained in religion, right? Or is only one of you
I'm
trained?
not.
You're not?
I
Okay.
am.
Religion check, please. I'll also say, Ayla, even though you're not trained, I'll give you the check just because you work in a temple. Just in case. Maybe you'll get lucky.
Can I cast guidance on myself?
Sure.
Blind GM roll?
Yes.
Can I hero point this?
Sure, since you don't know the result.
Yeah. Okay.
Normally you'd have to announce ahead of time, but
Yeah.
you don't know the
Yeah.
result, so it's the same.
Yeah. Sugar. Well, I know one of the results, but I
Yeah,
don't
go
know if
ahead and
that's
give
the
me
correct result.
go ahead and give me another blind roll.
Okay. Blind. There we go.
All right, so Ashay, unfortunately, again, this once again looks familiar, but you just can't quite put your finger on it. But Ayala, you happen to have seen this in some of your recent research. This statue depicts Abadar, the god of wealth and civilization.
All right. Um, statue is of Abadar, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember completely, but I think he deals with wealth, which makes sense in this circumstance, but I know if gold is conductive.
Possibly. I mean, you can just start trying things on them if you want to.
Is there such a thing as scales in this game?
Scales like to weigh things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
those
definitely.
balancing scales.
Yep, probably. I don't know if it's an actual equipment piece, but that's definitely something I'd let you get if you wanted it.
Because we can do the old trick of group them into threes, weigh 3v3, see which ones are equal in weight, but that's more than 2 tries.
I. Yeah.
No, we should be able to get it in 2 tries that way, right? We weigh 3 on each side, and if they're even, we know it's neither of the piles. So we check or 2 of the last 3, and if they're even, then we know it's the one that we never checked. But if one of the, well, I guess we wouldn't know if it's heavier or lighter.
What was that, Marcella?
There's just one fake coin, right?
Just one fake coin, as far as the words of the statue said. I'll give you another piece of information here. Not necessarily that the statue says anything weird, right? But you saw kobolds in this area earlier, and one of them tried to run through here. This probably would have been more fresh in your character's mind since it would have happened like an hour ago, right? I think you can all probably imagine that kobolds running through this hallway, probably fairly frequently if they were choosing it as an escape route, wouldn't see a bunch of coins on a table and do nothing with them. So you can probably safely assume that if you try to mess with the coins and it's not the right thing to do, the puzzle just resets. So if you want to just start trying things, it's probably safe. It's probably safe to assume that it's not 2 judgments as in you touch the coins twice or something like that. It's, there's something else to it.
Okay.
So if you want to try stuff like heating them or electrifying them or whatever,
I was gonna just walk up and bite each one.
All right, so you pick them up and bite each one. And I will say, with no roll required, they all seem exactly the same to you.
Okay. Because I know that gold is more malleable than wood or any other metal.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I want to try and electrify them and see what happens. So I'm gonna turn on my kinetic aura and then zap.
Okay, they all behave exactly the same way.
That's no good.
Do all of the coins have the same inscriptions and face on them?
They do indeed.
Hmm. Would I
Ogden,
have
since you're
noticed?
closest to the statue, I'll give you one extra hint here as you look at the statue. It appears that you can see very faint lines around the shoulders of the statue, as if the arms can move.
Both of them or just one?
Both of them.
I will take a gold piece from my pack and put it in one hand.
Okay, as you take a coin from your pack and move it over the table, it immediately vanishes.
Like disappears or goes back into my pack.
Completely disappears.
So I just
Oh.
lost a gold.
You did.
Oh,
Sadly.
That's annoying. Oh well.
um, maybe if we use the coins on the table, and I'll pick up one of the table coins and put it in a hand.
All right, you pick up one of the coins, put it in one hand. And if you just leave it there and you don't touch the other hand for a second, or are you going to put other things in the other hand?
Uh,
Why
I
don't
mean, I'm curious now. I want to see what happens if I just leave it.
Okay. If
why
you
don't
just
we try the weight scale with putting 3 coins in each hand, and maybe if they're gold it will drop them, and if it's not it holds it up.
so as you're saying this, the one coin in one hand and the empty coin in the other hand, or the empty hand, the hand with one coin gets lifted up and the other hand goes down. After it waits a minute for you to put something else in its hand and it verifies you're not putting anything else in its other hand, it just shifts the hand with a gold coin in it up. And then it says, one judgment. And then it resets back down to a neutral position.
Uh-oh. I imagine if we do that again, that'll be our second judgment.
Yeah.
Don't know how we're supposed to. Well, guess we'll have to test multiple coins at once if we want to test them all in two. Um,
Well, I think we've already used one of the 2 judgments, so we only have one more. So I think we need to figure out which one it is before we put them on the hands.
Did any of the coins feel heavier to me?
They all weigh exactly the same as far as you can tell.
What about the priesty dudes? Is there anything interesting about them?
They are adorned in similar robes to the god there in the statue, and you can assume that they are, essentially priests of that god, other statues of priests of that god rather. But looking
Fair
over
enough.
them, it doesn't appear like there's any weird cracks in them or moving joints or anything like that. No.
Hmm.
Do we each get 2 judgments?
I'm willing to test if you are.
The statue did not specify.
Hmm.
Should I test 4 at a time next?
Well, I can put a coin or two in each hand. That way we can see if it resets to 1 judgment.
Oh, I see. Yes, that's a good plan. I think.
So let's break this down into some numbers here. We'll say that Ayla, there's 9 coins. You just took coin number 9 and put it in a hand before, right? And you could verify
Yeah.
how it went. But there's the other coins. So Ogden, which 2 coins are you going to pick to put in the hands? Or what collections of coins would you like to put in the hands?
1 and 3 in the left hand, and 4 and 7 in the right hand.
Okay. You put the coins in, a statue waits a second, and then it just lifts both hands up into the air at the same time. It says, 2 judgments. And then the coins disappear from its hands. You see all the coins land on the table once again, and then they just shuffle all around. And then he repeats the same words he said when you entered the room. In my hands, I judge the value of all that stuff. Yeah, same words exactly.
Can I attempt to figure out which coins are the ones we've already touched? Like with the cup game or shell game?
Sure. Give me a perception check. This is going to be a very, very high DC because I moved very, very quickly.
There's no way I'm getting this. Here you go.
You try to start and follow them, but you're pretty sure you saw a couple of times where the coins just phased through each other magically and then took off at completely different angles than they were originally going. It seems like a nearly impossible task. You weren't quite up to the task, sadly.
I'm gonna rub my eyes and...
You're not sure if it was an optical illusion or if the coins actually just like moved through each other like they were completely made of magic, but yeah, that's what you saw.
All right. Do we want to now do the 3 coins?
I think maybe we should do 4 and 4.
That should work because either the coin that isn't right is in one of the hands or it's the leftover coin.
Yeah. I think 4 and 4 will give us the most information, but I don't think we'll be able to get it in 2 without some luck on our side.
Oh, it appears that this has infinite resets as far as you can tell, so you might as well try, right? So with the numbers 1 through 9, what are you attempting?
Let's leave 5 out, put 1 through 4 in the left hand and 6 through 9 in the right hand.
All right. It sits there for a second, and then it lifts up the left hand with 1 through 4 in it as higher than 6 through 9. So
Okay.
the hand with 1 through 4 is more valuable than the hand with 6 through 9. One judgment.
Yes, we know it's one of the ones over here on this side. Two is how to narrow it down from here. Well,
I mean, at this point, it's a 50-50 with any 2 coins we pick from that hand, right?
I think we could narrow it down a little bit further. What if we put these 2 coins in one hand, and I'll split apart coins 6 and 7,
Okay.
and then these 2 coins in the other hand.
Then it'll
And
just reset.
no, I'm gonna take coin 8, and I'm gonna take coin 5.
Then do what with
Or
them?
put them together.
Okay, so 6 and 7 in one hand and 5 and 8 in the other?
Yeah.
Okay. So 6 and 7 in one hand, 5 and 8 in the other. It will raise up 5 and 8. 2 judgments.
Okay, well, it was one of those 2, 6 and 7, although now they're different, so unless the spinning hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened yet, so yeah, you can go ahead and make a choice.
Well, should we choose one of them? 6 or 7, you think? I'm notoriously
7.
unlucky.
Let's go with lucky number 7.
Let's do it. And I'll hold up the 7th coin.
You hold up the coin, it disappears from your hand, the coins return to the table, and they shuffle all around.
No.
All right, so do we want to try the 3-3 because it didn't reset when we had the 50-50?
Well, why don't you try it? See what you get.
So I'll put 1, 2, 3 in the left hand, 4, 5, 6 in the right hand.
Okay. So you put 1, 2, 3 in one hand, 4, 5, 6 in the other. Both of them lift up together. One judgment.
Okay. I will put 7 in one hand and 8 in the other.
All right. The hand with 7 lifts up. 2 judgment.
I take off 7 and I leave 8.
Are you like trying to indicate to the statue you're selecting 8 as the fake coin?
Yep.
All right. The let's see. Let me double check exactly where in the notes it says what happens when you succeed. Okay, here we go. When you succeed, the coins lift up off the table, kind of shuffle together. The one fake coin that was in his hand just kind of crumbles away into like just black dust. All the coins hover above the table. They flash bright light for just a brief second, and then they clink down onto the table. Ting, 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 ting. And you hear the creaking open of a door up the hallway from you a little bit.
You know, we didn't even bother to check that door.
Actually, there's a door up the hallway, right, that you can see.
Uh-huh.
And then there's a secret door that just opened.
Secret tunnel.
As part of the wall slides away. The statue says to you all, "Do you not want the coins?"
I will grab 1 coin to make up for the one I lost.
And then there will be 7 remaining. Which, for the sake of time, since we're getting pretty close to the end here, I'm just going to throw 7 gold coins in the party funds, and we can deal with that later.
If
Right.
you guys are okay with me replacing the coin I sacrificed.
I am definitely okay with it.
Yeah.
All right. And, for completing the puzzle, you all get 80 experience points. Woo!
Dang, that's a beefy puzzle.
Yeah.
So that'll put us at 478.
That's what I've got.
Sounds right. All right, so
Almost halfway to level 2.
you peek into this chamber, Ogden, and you see it's got an old wooden chest inside. There's actually some light coming in through slits in the wall. You can see there. That's illuminating part of the room. There's a chest with a it's got a symbol of a key on it. It looks like, and behind the chest, there's some kind of contraption of gears and pulleys in the wall.
Ooh, I don't like whatever that voice was.
And you can hear immediately entering this room the voices of what sounds like familiar to you from earlier, some kobolds speaking in the room that there are slits leading into. And if you would like to loot that chest, it is unlocked. Let me go ahead and reveal for you the vault.
Ooh, an emerald.
Yeah, an emerald, a bunch of coins.
I'd say the scroll should go to Ayala, and then we can just add the rest to our party funds and deal with it later.
Yeah.
Works for me. Briefly skimming the scroll, do I recognize any of the writing on it?
Give me an Arcana check. I believe is accurate. Yes, Arcana.
Have I cast guidance on Ayala yet?
Nope.
All right, so I'll add a +1 to that in my comparison here. And Ayala, you recognize this as a scroll of magic missile.
Ooh. Well, this could come in handy. It's a scroll of magic missile.
So while you're looking in the chest, Ogden, you also notice the weird mechanism behind it. Can you give me a crafting skill check?
Yeah. Is this blind?
Yeah. Anyone else who's proficient in crafting can give me one if you're in that room.
I will also do that. Hold on a sec.
All right.
I'm not proficient.
My foundry's acting up right now. I think my sheet's fine, but like I'm having issues with the map.
Oh, no worries. Let me pull your tokens up to catch up, and then we'll work that out between sessions. Hopefully, there's an easy solution. Let's see, so the party should
Are
be
you using
updated
Chrome?
here.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm using Firefox for what it's worth, and it's fine. So Ashay, looking at the contraption behind the chest, you look at like a series of pulleys and gears and stuff that go up into the wall and up overhead, and then you can see it tucked behind a wall. You try to figure out what this does, and you realize there's these slits in the wall here that look in this room next to you, and it looks to you like this switch here controls a trap in the next room. A trap which is currently deactivated. And with that knowledge of a trap being active in the area, you actually look up into the next room and try to figure out where it would be activated from. And you are able to tell that this region outlined in white is trapped.
I do not see the region.
If you step over here and look up, then you'll be able to see it.
Ah, okay.
So there's an area on the floor in there. that is outlined in white, which indicates a trap that is currently deactivated. But you could turn it on if you want to.
Are there kobolds there right now?
You definitely hear the sound of kobolds in the next room, but you can't tell if any of them are in that area at the moment.
Okay, I will communicate the information to the others and say maybe we should have Nocti stay in here, and if the kobolds are mean, she can activate the trap.
I will, as much as I do like the Nocti trap plan here, I do think since you understand the mechanism of the trap here by understanding the crafting of it and stuff, it appears to be this isn't like a pull the lever Kronk situation as much as a arm the mines situation. So as long as the switch is active, the trap would go off if something enters that area. But if the trap is not active, turning the switch on wouldn't do anything. If that makes sense, right?
What if there's something in the area and then the mines get activated?
Then it would activate. Yeah, but if it's like
Okay.
if it's there's no necessarily benefit to waiting to turn it on. Is what I'm trying to indicate here, right? If you just turn it on now, it still won't activate until something enters the area.
Yeah, but I don't want to kill a bunch of innocent kobolds for no reason.
That's also fair.
I can station Nocti here, and is it just like a button or a lever?
It's a lever, yeah.
And if I yell for Nocti, I can have her jump into the lever and try and hit it.
Yeah, and then after that, we can make sure we stay out of the way and maybe shove a kobold there if we need to.
Nocti understands when I say words, right? Like,
Yeah, as a
Nocti can
familiar.
my commands. Okay.
That's how you're able to command them on your turn and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we'll wrap up there for tonight, but not before you all take an extra 30 XP for making this plan for the trap, as that is outlined in the adventure here.
And then
Because
halfway to level 2.
Exactly. Because the game emphasizes that sometimes making things easier for the next stages can give you XP, as well as actually accomplishing things. So taking extra steps like this can just earn you XP. Pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, thank you all for joining me this week. You got through a bunch of rooms, some puzzles and stuff, a bunch of extra loot, and everyone's all juiced up and ready to take on whatever's ahead of you here. But if you'd like zoom out to see this map, I mean, you can kind of see you're getting through most of the empty space in the map at this point. There's not too much left, and we'll see how much farther you get next time. See how many other further troubles there are under Otari.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten hurt yet, so we're still doing good on stamina and all the rest.
True. Absolutely. Oh, speaking of getting hurt, I'm pretty sure you all were pretty much fully healed when you came down here, right?
Yeah.
Everyone except Nocti.
Okay.
Nocti was missing 1 health.
Just wanted to double check, because if any of you had damage when you drank from that pool of water, you would have been healed. But you already all did it when you're at full health, so it's already all set. But yeah, stuff. Woo! All right. Good session. Catch you all next week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you next
Thank you for
week.
running.
And thank you for playing.